Welcome to the explainer. In the huge universe of chemical elements, there's one that kind of rules them all. Today, we're going to crack the code of carbon and find out why it's the undisputed MVP of chemistry. All right, let's kick things off with a little bit of a mystery. Think about it. We've got over 100 elements on the periodic table, right? Hydrogen, oxygen, gold, the whole gang. What? There's an entire field of chemistry, we're talking organic chemistry, that's dedicated to pretty much just one of them. How on earth is that possible? And here's where it gets even weirder. This superstar element, it makes up a teeny tiny fraction of the Earth's crust. We're talking just 0.02%. That's basically nothing. It's not even close to being the most common element. So if it's so rare, what's the big deal? And that right there, that's the big question we're tackling today. This whole paradox, super rare but also super important, is what makes carbon so cool. So let's dig in and figure out what special properties allow this one little element to be the foundation for millions and millions of different compounds. Okay, to really get why carbon is the boss, we have to look at its chemical toolkit. And honestly, the best way to think about it is that carbon has 3 superpowers that no other element can really compete with. All right, superpower number 1, catenation. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, but all it really means is that carbon has this incredible talent for linking up with itself. One carbon atom can grab onto another and another and another, forming these super long stable chains or even branched out structures and cool-looking rings. It's the ultimate team player. And this is what it looks like in action. It's like Legos for atoms. One carbon connects to another, which connects to another, and you can just keep going. This is how you build the basic skeletons for all sorts of crazy diverse molecules. I'm talking everything from the long-chain polymers that make Kevlar so strong to the complicated rings that make up things like steroids. Superpower number 2 is something called tetravalency. Tetra, that just means 4. So every single carbon atom has 4 hands, or what chemists call valence electrons. This means it can form 4 really strong bonds with other atoms at the same time. This is huge. It lets carbon build complex structures in 3 dimensions, creating the amazing architecture of, well, life itself. And finally, superpower number 3. It's tiny. Carbon is a small atom, and because it's so compact, its nucleus can keep a really tight grip on its bonding electrons. Think of it like a strong handshake. This creates incredibly stable bonds, and that's exactly why carbon-based stuff, like our own DNA, is so tough and lasts for so long. So you take these 3 amazing superpowers, put them together, and what do you get? A world of endless chemical possibilities. But, this incredible power also created a massive problem for the scientists who were just starting to figure all this out. I mean, just imagine it. When you can make endless chains and branch out in 4 different directions, the number of possible molecules is just astronomical. You can have straight chains that make things like lubricants, or branched chains for high-octane fuel. You can even make complex ring structures that are the basis for everything from cholesterol to aspirin. The sheer variety is just mind-blowing. You can see how this was a gigantic headache for early chemists, right? Imagine you're discovering thousands of new substances every day from plants, animals, rocks, you name it. How do you even begin to name them all? How do you know if the gooey stuff you got from one tree is anything like the waxy stuff from another? It was absolute chaos. So what was the solution? Well, it was brilliant, actually. Chemists came up with a universal, logical naming system. The fancy word is nomenclature. But don't think of it as just a long list of names to memorize. It's way cooler than that. It's more like a secret code, where every single part of a name tells you exactly what the molecule looks like. And honestly, the best way to get this is with a super simple analogy. Think about a person's full name. A chemical's name is built pretty much the same way, with different parts that each tell you a specific thing about it. Okay, so check this out. The prefix is like a person's title, like doctor or professor. It tells you about any extra groups that are attached to the main molecule. Then you have the root word. That's like the first name. It's the core of the identity, and it tells you exactly how many carbons are in the main chain. And finally, the suffix. That's the last name. It tells you what family the compound belongs to.
So let's break that down, starting with the first name, the root word. This part is super straightforward. It's all about counting the number of carbons in the longest chain. If there's 1 carbon, the root is meth. 2 carbons, eth. 3 is prop, and so on. Simple as that. That's piece number 1 of our code. Next up, the last name, the suffix. This part tells you what kind of bonds are holding those carbon atoms together. If they're all single bonds, it's from the alkane family, and its name ends in -ane. If there's at least 1 double bond, it's an alkene, and the name ends in -ene. And if you spot a triple bond, it's an alkyne, and it gets the ending -ine. See the pattern? But wait, what if there are other interesting atoms hanging off the chain? Well, we call those functional groups, and they kind of give the molecule a whole new last name and a totally unique personality. So for example, if you see an OH group attached, that makes it an alcohol, and its name will end in -ol. Each of these special groups changes the molecule's identity and completely dictates how it's going to act. Okay, so theory's one thing, but let's actually put this to the test. We have the keys to the code now, so let's try to decipher a couple of these names together. You ready? Okay, have a look at this molecule right here. First things first, let's just count the carbons in the main chain. We've got 1, 2, 3. Easy enough. Now let's look at the bonds connecting them. See how they're all just single lines? That means they're all single bonds. So let's apply our code. 3 carbons, that gives us the root word prop. All single bonds, that means it's an alkane, so we add the suffix -ane. Put it all together, and what do you have? Propane. Yep, the very same stuff that's in your barbecue grill. The name isn't random at all. It literally tells you what it's made of. All right, ready to level up? Let's try this one. It's got 2 carbon atoms, and they're connected by a single bond. But look closely. See that extra piece hanging off the end? That OH group? That's one of those functional groups we talked about, and it's about to change this molecule's entire last name. Let's build this name together, step by step. First, 2 carbons. That gives us the root word F. Okay, next, the single bond between them gives us that middle part, -ane. And finally, that OH group tells us it's an alcohol, so we slap on the suffix -ol. Now, let's put all those pieces together. F-N-ol. Ethanol. Bam! A name that perfectly describes a molecule with 2 carbons, single bonds, and an alcohol group. See? It's the language of chemistry, and every single syllable has a job to do. So think about it. What started out as total chaos is now this beautiful, logical system. And the best part is, you now hold the key. You've got the basic tools to look at some crazy long chemical name and actually picture what the molecule looks like in your head. The secret code of chemistry? It's not so secret anymore. It's a language, and you've just learned your first few words.
Thank you for watching CBSE One Shot. If it helped you, like, share and subscribe.